This is the single worst idea that I've heard in a while, and unfortunately it seems to be happening. A tech startup out of California has raised tens of millions of dollars to fit giant mirrors in space. No, this has nothing to do with global warming. They want to provide light to people willing to pay for it at night. The company, Reflect Orbit, is located in Hawthorne, California, and they say they can provide sunlight on demand. Evidently, the sun provides trillion times more energy than we could possibly use it for, so why not concentrate light that would have otherwise gone out into space directly onto dark parts of our planet? This could provide sunlight for agriculture, if you really want to plant stuff in areas without enough sunlight. It could allow industrial complexes to have 24 hours a day of sunlight, and you wouldn't have to worry about light bulbs. They also said that apparently if they could have solar power 24 hours a day, you would not have to worry anymore about not getting power at night. What they seek out to do is to be able to light up large swaths of the ground. However, you probably also don't have to worry about sleeping ever again. Now, I know the idea of setting up giant mirrors in space and shining it down so people can pay for sunlight sounds almost supervillain, comical. Unfortunately, it is actually happening, and there's a reasonable amount of opposition because a lot of things could go wrong. Imagine what mechanical failure looks like. So suddenly, it's stuck, shining light on one particular area in one concentrated place, and now you're like an ant under a magnifying glass. Who's going to regulate it? Who can decide who gets sunlight when and where? Who owns space? We're going to have to get some new treaties to decide on all that, and there is, of course, Kepler syndrome, in which we are increasingly putting more junk out into space, and eventually we will trap ourselves here, because we won't be able to leave or even launch any new satellites. We actually do need to clean up Earth's orbit if we don't want to end up in that situation. Another massive issue is, of course, nocturnal critters. We lose about 2 to 3% of total insect biomass every single year. Yes, when you're driving down the road and you're not getting your windshield hit by insects, there's a reason for that. They're gone. Aside from, pesticides and habitat loss, light pollution is thought to be the biggest contributor to the loss of insects. Yes, they need night just like we do to function. Insects are also at the bottom of the food chain. Critters need to eat them, and then it goes all the way back up to apex predators. You too need insects to survive. So doing things that are very likely to make the situation worse is maybe not the brightest idea. And of course, if you manage to be okay with all of that, do you like seeing the stars at night? Doing something that makes the sky far harder to see is going to impact astronomy. It's going to impact that guy who got lost in the wilderness and somehow knows how to navigate by the stars. I actually know how to do that, but the stars aren't going to be there. There's just going to be these giant beams of light that people are paying for because they want sunlight for some reason. I can't tell you. It's not a good idea, and if you see something that I don't, please let me know, because this seems like supervillain levels of bad idea.